What would you do if your partner broke up with you because you weren't supportive of their dreams to run for class president? Would you A, apologize for being mean, B, try to do better in the future, or C, devise a plan where you basically help your bully run against them so that you can humiliate them both to prove that you were right and win him back? If you picked either A or B, you're wrong. Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. Tubi movies definitely don't have a reputation for being good. And after watching Sideline the QB and Me 1 and 2,
Not my name, quarterback.
I did not have very high hopes for How to Lose a Popularity Contest. But after watching it, I feel like I can say that it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. No, like seriously, it was actually kind of good. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you all about it. The first 7 to 8 minutes of the movie is basically an introduction to all of our main characters. We get a feel for the power dynamics of the school and we learn about the popular and less popular kids. So to start, we have our main character, Ellie Pearse, who is your classic overachiever, smart, unpopular girl who also has a tendency to be kind of bossy and believe that she's right all the time. She's sometimes called Max because one time in middle school during a sex education class, she got her period. So Max like Maxi pad, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Then we're introduced to the originator of the Max nickname, her bully, Nate Reed. Nate is the most popular guy in school and he's very, very, very immature. Then we have a character whose real name is Charlie, but we call him Streaker. He is Nate's best friend and if it's even possible, he's even more immature than Nate. We also find out later in the movie that his parents are rich and his dad is an international criminal, which is like a running joke throughout the movie, but also like what? Like his dad is an international criminal. We're just gonna gloss over that like it doesn't matter. Like then we're introduced to Rowan Cross, who is Ellie's boyfriend. He's sweet, nerdy, and wants to run for student body president. Then we move on to Aja and Lauren, who are introduced as Ellie's day ones, aka her best friends. We find out later in the movie that Aja is the drama club leader and Lauren is a gamer who plays Minecraft with Rowan. After school, Ellie, Aja, Lauren, and Rowan are playing this game in their basement. It's kind of like a role-playing fantasy game that they play every weekend. While they're playing, Ellie's kind of being a bit bossy. Okay, like very bossy, and she and Aja kind of get into like a small little disagreement. And while this is going on, Rowan mentions to Lauren that he has a big announcement. So then Lauren gets everyone's attention and she's like, Rowan has a big announcement. So Ellie and Aja listen in to hear him announce that he wants to run for student body president. Aja and Lauren seem to be very excited for him, but Ellie doesn't.
I've decided I'm running for student body president.
That's crazy.
She goes on a whole tangent about how Rowan is going to lose because student body president is for popular people and popular people like Quinn win and not unpopular people like them.
Look, the student body president is a leadership position, Rowan, and you're not a leader. And if you put a target on your back, these kids are going to keep you alive. Smashing blindly into the cruel inevitability of social Darwinism is not brave, okay? It's stupid.
Rowan is clearly very devastated by the fact that Ellie doesn't support him, so he breaks up with her. Then we move on to Nate, Streaker, and Quinn, who are at a party. Nate and Streaker are goofing off, but Quinn seems to not really be interested in what they're doing. She asks Nate, aren't you getting tired of this? And claims that the party is so high school. But Nate is like, what are you talking about? This is high school. Quinn walks away in frustration because she really doesn't want to get into it, but Nate follows her.
You hooked up with some college dude at orientation, didn't you?
That's what you think this is?
Yeah, I do. Or, I don't know, you've been acting so weird since you got back.
I don't want to do this here.
Do what here?
Quinn tells him that he only puts effort into things that come easily to him, like baseball. She proceeds to break up with him because, in her words,
I can't be with somebody who refuses to grow up and get serious.
After their respective breakups, Nate and Ellie end up at the same diner because they're trying to eat their feelings. And then they start talking to each other about how they just got broken up with. Which leads Ellie to propose a plan to Nate that he should do something that will show Quinn that he is serious, like running for student body president. But Nate refuses because it seems like too much work. The next day, while Aja and Lauren are rehearsing for their play, Ellie tells the both of them her plan to get Rowan back.
Well, I was just telling the truth, and he thought I was being mean, but what he doesn't realize is that the truth is almost always mean. So all I need to do is show him the truth about the truth. Make sense?
I don't get it. I think I'm following.
I need to convince Nate Reed to run for student body president.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
However, she doesn't actually convince Nate. She kind of just signs him up for president, like, without his consent. She also, like, discourages other people from signing up as well. So it's literally just Rowan and Nate running against each other. Word gets around school because Ellie starts trying to convince other people to vote for Nate. So Quinn hears about it and gets frustrated and confronts Nate.
I've been in the student government since the 6th grade, and now you're gonna turn it into some joke?
Quinn, I literally have no idea.
What you're doing? Of course you don't. You'd make an awful president, Nate. So why don't you go erase your name, and then we can pretend like this never happened.
Now, Nate doesn't even know about the plan that Ellie created, but just because of Quinn's words, he decides that he would make a great president. But, like, again, he doesn't even know anything about the plan, so he confronts Ellie because obviously, like, who else would sign him up to run for president against his will? Which leads us to the scene that Tubi's TikTok account teased, like, right before the movie came out.
You wrote my name on that list?
What? Oh, no way. Okay, I did. I wrote it. But you looked so sad at the diner, and I figured if I signed you up for president, it would get Quinn's attention.
Well, thanks, Max. It did get her attention, and now she hates me.
So then Nate tells Ellie that he has to help her run for president because, again, she's the one who signed him up. And he also adds on the fact that her helping him would probably make Rowan jealous, and, like, they can both get back together with their exes. But Ellie refuses. Which, side note, at this point in the movie had me so confused because I'm like, how is she refusing to the plot of the movie? And the plan kind of, like, changes 3 or more times, but anyway, Ellie eventually agrees to help him in hopes of getting a recommendation letter from her counselor, and she also plans to disqualify Nate by framing him for committing a crime that will get him kicked out of his position so that Rowan can win. Yeah. Also, sidetrack again, Nate gives, like, this, like, inspirational speech about how he wants to get rid of detention because it makes him feel like a failure every time that he gets sent to detention, and every teacher looks at him like he's the worst person on the planet.
No more detention.
And then also says that, like, instead of detention, kids who get into trouble should serve in, like, soup kitchens or something like that. And it's like, I get what they were going for with this. I get that they tried to be, like, edgy. Also, it kind of doesn't make sense because, like, the school would probably have to pay, like, extra money to, like, send them to the soup kitchens. And, like, you know, in a way, I understand what he was going for, but also, like, no. Like... So now the campaign has officially started. Ellie basically guides Nate to make connections and get to know the people around the school, and of course, basically earn himself votes. And also, while Quinn is helping him, Rowan notices them and walks up to Ellie and says,
Already found somebody else to push around, huh?
So now Ellie and Nate are... So now Ellie and Nate are at Ellie's house so that they can work on his upcoming speeches. And, like, while they're working, they get a little bit sidetracked. We find out that Nate likes to draw, and then we also learn about Ellie's mom, and we kind of get a glimpse into, like, Ellie's mind and, like, how she wants everything to, like, be a certain way, but in doing so, she kind of missed out on certain fun moments in her life. So now Ellie is at a party at Streaker's house that he invited her to. He invites her to this party, like, in front of her friends, and then tells them, like, you guys aren't invited because I don't know you. It's like a campaign party for Nate, which seemingly she doesn't even know that it's a campaign party until she gets to the party. But anyway, Nate and Ellie are, like, talking. It seems like they're, like, kind of falling in love with each other. They're kind of flirting a bit. Oh my goodness. During the party, Quinn and Ellie start talking to each other, and Quinn admits that it's nice to see that Nate is with someone who, like, helps him try put effort into stuff. But then Ellie's kind of caught off guard by this, and she's like, wait, with someone? Because, like, they're not together. But then, of course, Quinn is like, no, like, that's not what I meant. Then Quinn starts talking about a video that Nate sent to her when they were together, and it's a video of Nate smoking in the school bathroom, which she shows to Ellie. So then, because of her plan to get Nate disqualified, she sees this video and she's like, oh my goodness, this is perfect. So then she airdrops herself the video. As the party goes on, Ellie kind of drinks a bit too much. She plays beer pong with Nate, and towards the end of the night, she almost exposes her plan because she drank too much. But then she doesn't get the chance to because all of the stuff she drank comes out of her body. For the entirety of the movie up until the point where they start playing beer pong, Nate has been calling Ellie Max because again that's her nickname that he created for her. But then he randomly just decides to stop calling her that. And like it is addressed. Like Ellie does say like,
wait, did you just call me Ellie?
There's no like scene where he like consciously decides he's gonna stop calling her Ellie. So I guess he just gets like a download from the aliens or something that he should just stop calling her Max. And then like the cherry on top is that he literally defends her when Streaker calls her Max, even though he's the one who made up the nickname.
Yo, Max is insane. Yo, her name is Ellie.
Okay, so now it's a few days after the party and it's time for Rowan and Nate's debate. When Nate shows up, Ellie sees him and she's like,
You look pretty.
What?
Pretty polished. Very residential.
Jokes aside, like as much as I was like cringing through this movie, I thought this scene was pretty cute. So like during the actual debate, Nate almost sells the bag because he's talking about how he's gonna improve the school lunch, but he basically says like, instead of eating this lunch at school, we should just order takeout. But like obviously not everyone can afford ordering takeout every day. So yeah, the students really don't like his response to that. But then he saves himself when he gets to talk about funding for different sports and extracurricular activities. And he proposes the idea that the different clubs should hold fundraisers so that they can raise money to afford different equipment and things that they need. Then after the debate, Ellie and Nate eat dinner at the diner that they both went to when they got broken up with. They both kind of make fun of each other a bit for like their different personalities.
Dude, let's go to Streakers and get some beers with the boys.
And then they both come to this like realization or like decision that they're both obnoxious. So now we're at a fair and Ellie came up with this like entire plan, but then Nate kind of like goes off book of it and he's like, no, I've got a better plan. So basically he charges people, I think like $5, but basically people can pay to throw a pie in Nate's face. So then we get a montage of a bunch of different people who are holding grudges against Nate who get the opportunity to throw a pie in his face. And sidetrack, Nate is supposed to be like the most popular guy in school, and obviously like it's very clear that he's immature and he does stupid stuff, but I feel like there are a lot more scenes where people seem to be like annoyed by Nate or like they don't agree with Nate, especially during the debate and during his speech. Like it's very clear that people around the school don't really like him very much. Then after the montage, of course, we have to get a very unnecessary scene where Nate is like cleaning the pie off his face and then he like changes his shirt in front of Ellie. Now that it's nighttime and then like their entire like booth event thing is over, Ellie and Nate spend the rest of the time enjoying the fair together. Then Nate surprises Ellie with this like comic book that he made for them called Ellie and Nate.
It's a little comic I made for you about us.
And of course Ellie is very touched by this gift, and then they almost kiss, but of course Ellie's still feeling guilty about her plan, so she runs away before they can. Now it's election day where everyone can vote for who they want to be their student body president. Ellie and Aja are together in the theater and Ellie's telling her that she really cares about Nate, and she decides to delete the video of him smoking in the school bathroom. Then we see Lauren and Rowan talking to each other, and Rowan decides to ask Lauren if Ellie and Nate are together. At first, Lauren doesn't give him a clear answer, but then eventually she decides to come clean and tells Rowan Ellie's entire plan. So Rowan is not very happy about this and he angrily goes to confront Ellie. Ellie tries to explain, but Rowan's not having it.
This whole thing was a mistake.
No, Ellie. This wasn't a mistake. This was another one of your plans where you have to control everyone around you.
Then Quinn calls him to tell him that the votes are in and they're ready to announce who the president is. Rowan meets Nate outside of the gymnasium where the winner will be announced. The gymnasium. And then Rowan starts talking to Nate about his soup kitchen plan, and then he goes inside the gym. Now Quinn and Nate are alone together and Quinn tells Nate about Ellie's plan to disqualify him.
Ellie?
Yeah, she actually believes in me.
No, Nate, she's using you.
What are you talking about? No, she's not.
Nate, I promise you, she is.
Then Nate decides that he doesn't want to be in the gym anymore, so he hides in the school's like mechanic car room. Ellie finds him there and tries to explain everything, but Nate already believes that she was just using him and doesn't actually believe in him the way that he believed she did. The counselor announces the principal, the guidance counselor? She's the guidance counselor, right? I've been calling her the guidance counselor this entire time. Anyway, the guidance counselor principal lady announces the winner and Nate actually wins. But then he decides that he's going to give up the position to Rowan because unlike him, he actually will be putting his plans into action. And of course, like any good movie, after the climax, we have to have an emotional montage with all of the characters being sad. One day, Ellie and her dad are in the kitchen together, and Ellie's like aggressively chopping vegetables because she's like really upset about everything. And she kind of just blames everything on Nate, and she's like,
if you never called me Maxi Pad in the 6th grade, then I would have never dated Rowan, and then we would have never blah, 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 and then this would have never happened, and then blah, blah, blah.
So basically, her dad kind of like gives her a pep talk, and like he's like, is that really the lesson that we learned from this? And then, you know, kind of like talk some sense into her. So now Ellie's at the interview for this program that she's been dying to get into, and that's what the recommendation letter from the counselor was for. So she's sitting outside on a bench, and there's probably another senior sitting next to her. It's not really clear what grade she's in or like what her name is or anything like that, but we know that she's also here for the interview as well. The girl tells her that it's so refreshing to finally be talking to someone who's worth her time.
But Horton is filled with lazy, hormonal losers who only care about where the next party is. Excited to be around some winners for a change.
And as she's talking, Ellie kind of comes to a realization that like that's exactly the way that she is. So then before she even gets the chance to interview, she actually leaves. And she's seen walking into this like convention like event with a bunch of different schools and like summer programs. And she stumbles upon like this tent that's promoting this like summer art program, and she talks to the man there about her talented friend who's actually more than a friend, but like she doesn't know if she can like. But then eventually the man hands her a pamphlet explaining like what the art program is about. Then on the way home, Ellie makes a stop at the diner where she sees Quinn, and then Quinn admits that she was actually jealous of Ellie because she has never seen Nate try so hard with anyone. So at the diner, Ellie orders a pizza and it's delivered to Rowan's house, and inside of the pizza is like a note where she's basically apologizing to him. And then Nate receives a call from the summer art program. Now it's the last day of school, and of course everyone is excited to be leaving and they're throwing papers around. Ellie is at her locker, and then Nate walks up to her asking her about the summer art program. So Ellie tells him about it and admits to him that she applied for the program under his name, which I feel like is probably not legal, but anyway. So Nate is confused and he's like,
was this a part of your plan too? Like, was this like another way to like humiliate me?
Basically. So then Ellie tells Nate that she's actually not going to be attending the summer program that she's been like dying to go to since the beginning of the movie. She tells him that she submitted the Nate and Ellie comic that he made to the art program, and then she says that they really liked Nate and Ellie, and then she tells Nate that she likes Nate and Ellie as well. And she's not just talking about the comic book.
And I'm not talking about water.
I'm not talking about water. And then showing that he forgives her and likes Nate and Ellie as well, Nate kisses Ellie. Aww. Then we're shown a scene from 4 months and 17 days later where Ellie, Nate, Aja, Lauren, and Rowan are playing the fantasy game from the beginning. But now Ellie knows how to let loose and have fun. And she's not controlling and arguing with her friends anymore. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I really didn't have high hopes for this movie, especially considering Sideline the QB and me. I did cringe a bit. Like, it's a movie, it's not gonna be perfect. But at the end of the day, I will say that I spoke too soon. Like, I judged a book by its cover. And if you're thinking about watching the movie, then you can for free on Tubi. That sounded like this video is sponsored, but it's not. Anyway, that's going to be all for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want, you can follow me on Instagram where I post updates, thumbnails, clips from my videos, and more. I'll have it in the description below. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Jesus loves you so much. Bye, angels! I don't know, I hope this video was good. Hope it wasn't too rambling this time. Oh my goodness, I literally did not go to school today. I'm probably gonna have so much work to do when I go back. I hope not. I'm sorry. I didn't order disrespect with a side of my potato salad. Is that still in? Is that still hip? Is that still cool? Do people still do that?